wait on me. Tell me how can I love Jesus when I never seen his face? Yeah, I see you dying and I turn and I walk away. So hold my hand. Let me take you to a friend of mine that's waiting just to ease your troubled mind. Yeah, he loves you more than you'll ever know. Instead of walking away, open up your heart and say, come on. I am here. I am here. You don't have to worry. I can see every doubt. You can lean on me. When you call, free to be there to catch you when you fall. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can lean on me, yeah. You're my friend, but you're also my brother. Here's my shoulder, you can lean on me. Hallelujah.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Join Andy Williams, Michael Kerr, and Lennox Smith, the Ground Report team on M1047, as they rip apart the lies, half-truth, and misinformation that the mainstream media never discuss. The Ground Report. Hard-hitting, informative, undiluted, uncompromising, and unfiltered. Monday to Friday on M104.7 FM. Get the raw facts before making any life-changing decisions. Only on The Ground Report.
Round the clock, you can't stop, you're on the go. KFC have something for you, so delicious, it's our favorite meal. And KFC, we deal is the real thing. Come get a whole meal on your time, eh? We deal when you're busy, you could still be happy when you get on KFC, we deal.
When you're on the go, you always have time for a delicious meal with the KFC We Deal. Enjoy 2 pieces of golden chicken and 2 regular sides for only $34.95 today. From KFC, it's finger-licking good.
David Guide and Son Funeral Services, with locations in High Street, Siparia, Port of Spain, Couva, San Fernando, and Point Fortin. David Guide and Son Funeral Services is the choice for you. Having to lose someone you love is already hard, so funeral services and arrangements should be made easy. And at David Guide and Son, that is what we guarantee. We guarantee our customers exclusive services at affordable prices. Our services include funeral pre-arrangement packages, casket customization, great customer service, the latest in body preparation technology, and the best fleet of vehicles to give your loved ones the send-off they deserve. With 5 convenient locations located nationwide, feel free to call or visit us today. With full packages starting from as low as $7,500, call David Guide and Son Funeral Services today. Distinctive, not expensive.
The Society of St. Vincent de Paul of Trinidad and Tobago presents Brunch on the Mount, Sunday, April 28th, 2024, at the Seminary of Mount St. Benedict. Price is $150. Breakfast will be served from 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Lots of door prizes and entertainment. Plus, Mass will be held at 5, 7, and 8:30 a.m. on the Mount. Tickets are available now from all conferences. Come join in fellowship and praise as we do Brunch on the Mount.
I love you, Lord.
On Saturday, 11th May, the night before Mother's Day, Goodfellas and Notorious Promotion presents From Then to Now.
It's called Ippity Alpha. Don't stop around.
From Then to Now. At Club Eatings, Ojo Road, Sangre Grande. Doors open from 9 p.m. till. With artists performing live. Swappy, Irfan Els, and surprise guests with your DJs. DJ Romero, Dario Sound Movement, The Perfect One, Mega D, Sean 3.0, and J-Wise, DJ Nigel, and many more. Get your tickets now. Tickets available at the venue. And committee members. Tickets cost $100. Call 764-4837 and 463-7303. Get your tickets early. It's the ultimate Mother's Day gift. Saturday, 11th May. All roads lead to Club Eatings, Ojo Road, Sangre Grande.
Put food on your table. ADC is affordable. Shop at ADC Supermarket, Cleaver Road. A very comfortable and clean environment. These prices are unbelievable. Come see for yourself. We have the best alcohol prices. Don't miss out. Get those specials on liquor. Put food on your table with ADC Supermarket, conveniently located at number 4 Cleaver Road in Arima. Every Friday and Saturday is real vibes and live entertainment from your very own DJ Christian on Friday and Saturday. Everyone is talking about ADC Supermarket. Shop in comfort and in a clean environment with the best prices for all your grocery needs. Secured parking. Remember, free delivery. Put food on your table. ADC is affordable. ADC Supermarket, number 4 Cleaver Road in Arima.
More Music Festival, Center of Excellence, 20th July.
Masha, I ain't gonna lie, Baila Luna was real nice. I feel I want to try a thing, girl.
You serious? Let me hear you. Try a thing.
Yeah, man. Dance up. Anything we say, we never allow dance up.
So, no. The talent that came here at La Luna, you're ready for them yet? No. Sunday, 28th of April, Kirby's Bar and Lounge comes alive. Chase Village in Chaguanas, as it's the Kiskity Caravan Talent Search comes alive. Bring your talent and come. Can you sing? Be sure to bring your flash drive with your accompanying music if so needed. It's all about the relaunch of the Kiskity Caravan. Auditions start promptly at 2 p.m. Be on time. No matter your talent, bring it and come. And follow our TikTok page today, Iconic 1047. Just look for our logo. Be there this Sunday. Because you feel as you alone practicing. You feel as you alone practicing. Unbreak my heart.
Hey, oh God, your voice husky like a coconut. That man get through. Oh God.
Yes, indeed. A pleasant good morning to all and sundry. East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago. And wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, indeed, it is Friday. And of course, it's my night off, so to speak. I look forward, of course, to being at Spagos on Prince Street, the place that some people would, with a high degree of trepidation, fear. But of course, people like myself, of course, enter where angels fear. That being as it may, we continue, of course, to do what we have to do in order to treat with the issues of the day. I want to say I had a wonderful time last night, of course, on the corridor transformation. And for those of you who still are not yet accurate or familiar with the way to communicate on Facebook, at least, YouTube, normal, you simply have to type in, of course, love and maybe Laventil to add to it in order, of course, to get the page on the nightly broadcast of the corridor transformation. I want to also say that I have yet to pull down the corridor transformation page on Facebook. So those of you who are still going there will see these despicable, lewd, and nude videos consequential of hacking. But of course, as the saying goes, you can't keep a good man down. there are many ways, of course, to skin a goat. And as one very prominent, he has died now, of course, but very prominent, what I consider to be former nemesis. I say nemesis from the point of view that clearly he felt intimidated by my tenacity and my ability to, of course, survive in an environment where, of course, those persons who believe, like Rowley and others, that they have total and absolute control and determine who must eat and who mustn't eat it to that extent, and delude themselves into believing that the human spirit is not one where the individual, if he is sincere and, of course, determined to make it in this life, will find ways and means of so doing. I consider it to be the existential philosophy. Existentialism speaks to, of course, the recognition of the human being and the human spirit. And that if you are born in poverty, for example, you don't have to die in poverty. But you can, of course, by dint of hard work and strategic implementation of ways and means, you can, of course, emerge out of that quagmire. Rowley and the government will like you to remain in that situation, like Lavatil and so on, see you as a vote bank, and you must be there at their beck and call, even though they are doing you evil. As I told one young man only yesterday, listen, I know that you are waiting on the promise made by Fitzgerald Hines and, of course, Scotland, and the announcement by the Prime Minister of this $100 million for what they consider to be crime hotspot areas. Of course, I'm speaking from our location here on George Street, so you'll understand that these young men will be vacillating between Nelson Street, of course, Duncan Street, Piccadilly Street, George Street. So that's the geographic area, but of course, associated with that is the social reality and the psychosocial and socio-economic, should I say, circumstances of these young people. And I told him in no uncertain terms, in the package that would have been offered or promised, if you get it at all, because you're waiting, for example, as he told me, and I'm going to say it, on the George Street Community Center for rehabilitation or for habilitation or renovation. A facility that I renovated maybe about a decade ago, if so long. But of course, just to create work for them, they have decided, of course, to look at maybe further enhancing that facility. Nothing wrong with that. But I told him in no uncertain terms, because he seemed to have reposed some trust in the words of Hines and the PNM. Of course, you hear me chuckling in my voice, is because, of course, I know he's a bunch of jokers, and I know he's just about telling the fool something to send them further. But I told him in uncertain terms, what you want to ask and to tell Hines and Scotland, listen, the same arrangement that the UNC gave and the option that they gave and the overture that they made to the residents of this area that mainly occupy HGC apartment accommodation of $100 and a 99-year lease for them, that is what you want. And of course, he was a bit amazed and confused as to why would I recommend that. Of course, having regard to the fact that they know me and therefore they would respect my intervention. But he couldn't contemplate why I said that. And I said, before he burst any, let's say, brain cell, I told him in no uncertain terms, the reason for that is more sustainable. If you have a lease in your hands And for example, and I'm going to read a portion of it just after I gave some elements of the news this morning. But I told him in no uncertain terms that if you have a lease in your hand, the money you're looking for now to start your little business, you could use that as collateral to go to the bank because you own it. And then he opened his eyes. I could see it, even though it was not as conspicuous as physically as one would wanted to describe, but certainly you could feel his eyes opened. And I said, mommy or daddy or the person in whose name the apartment, who was responsible for signing the contract, let them be able to own the apartments by that mechanism. And so you begin the process. And I went further to let him know. Carnival time, for example, I went as far as that to say, oh, look at empty a room. And for Carnival, once, of course, the socio-economic conditions, the crime and criminality reputation of the area is reduced. So I'm being realistic. And it would be all your responsibility to make sure that that happens in order to get to the benefits. And you can now advertise in group. You can advertise the entire community that there are one room available in your accommodation to encourage. Usually around Carnival time, hotels are oversubscribed. And so you can encourage persons who want to come for Carnival, for example. And I use Carnival as a very, for them, an impossible example, but demonstrating how possible it is. You rent that for the Carnival season. They're right in town. As they step out, they're on George Street or right in Port of Spain, and they can go across to Frederick Street, go up to Savannah, etc. Everything is there. Once, of course, the social environment can accommodate. And boy, his eyes opened, because he was telling me that he trusted the P&M. I want to tell you flat. He told me he trusted the P&M. And that he believes that they will deliver. And he went further when I made that suggestion to him, even though, of course, he accepted it and recognized that, listen, that is possible, and that is a viable way of course, making certain that they, on a sustained basis, advance themselves, whole community, whole families. He turned and say he will tell Heinz and them that after they deliver what he expects of them to deliver. I said, no, you don't do that, my friend. Take my advice. You do it simultaneously. You do it at the same time. Do one that is not dependent on the other for delivery and for advancement, and to let them know what you really want. Why? Because the latter, meaning that the offering of to you a 99-year lease for $100 only requires the stroke of a pen and political will. That's all. What you're waiting on is physical money. No, they could easily do that right now. And then, of course, he said, well, I made the point in the process that, listen, remember Rowley, as Minister of Housing, came to the very community center that they want to renovate and to get some make work resources. It said that they are prepared under the Manning administration to bulldoze the whole of East Port of Spain. Remember that statement? I could never forget. And we, with Hazel Smith, no relations to me, but of course we got together and we resisted. And so you all are still there today. You all are still there today. And then, of course, he tried to make what I consider to be a tenuous argument, because, you know, it is difficult for people who have been brainwashed, for want of a better term, and have been living a lie imposed by external forces like the PNM for so long. And as a young man, he couldn't be. He could be in his early 30s, if not before that. And he turned and said, well, listen, look how long ago that was. I told him, yes, it was about 2005 that we stopped them. Suggested that somehow the PNM would have done away with that and forget that, and therefore it is a back burner issue, if at all, and that they wouldn't be subjected. And I told him, no, my friend. I told him, no, my friend. Understand, I will never lead you astray. But then, of course, he persisted that the length of time that they have not interfered with them to displace them, to get rid of them, to demolish and to, as they say, move for the so-called rehabilitation of East Port of Spain. I then had to direct his attention to the most recent development in that regard. And what was that? The demolition of the Duncan Street, very, very, what I consider to be structurally firm. The integrity of the structures did not require even any improvement. And here it is, they went and demolished Duncan Street, and it's just a matter of time for all you, if you could read and then, of course, look at some of the utterances made by Dr. Rowley. For example, he described Queen Street as a latrine at one point in time. And then he also said at another occasion in Diego Martin that if you know that the government coming for the apartments, then leave. All these are practical signs that they want to get rid of you all. And our argument, and it continues so to be, that you do not transplant, you do not disseminate the problem of East Port of Spain into other communities across the country. Rowley and they are myopic in their disposition and short-sighted in their thinking and policy creation as far as these matters are concerned. I have argued over and over that you do not transplant, you do not move these people from here. What you do, you contain the problem, because when you transplant them, as was the case recently with Duncan Street, you saw that they are all over the place, whether in Arima, whether of course in San Fernando, etc. And the problem that they are attempting, of course, to disappear suddenly. They believe that these people are going to change when they go into other communities. No, they will continue along the lines of what they know. So even trying, and I am not surprised, and you ought not to be, after hearing, of course, what I consider to be expert assessment. You should not be surprised of the proliferation and the almost ubiquitous presence of crime in every nook and cranny in Trinidad and Tobago, places where you never expected it to be, and communities that says that we were never accustomed to this kind of exposure now are being exposed. That is because of a policy and program by a myopic administration that clearly wants to gentrify the particular area. They want the land for their 1%ers and or other agendas, but of course totally not in sync with, of course, the general good of the people, and not, of course, thinking broadly and with a high degree of specificity, and to, of course, appease the national mindset and concern about crime and criminality. And what they are on, what they are prepared to do is to spread the problem all over the country. And usually, of course, for political dominance, as we are seeing now happening in some of the marginal seats where they are now house padding, and it's these very people they will put there to, of course, make Trinidad and Tobago a consummate hellhole. So is then the young man recognized the logic and common sense in what experience and devoted persons in the context of Laventil, in the context of East Port of Spain, was telling him. And he had to, of course, agree. And he said, of course, he will, of course, broach that subject when the time comes and when they return to deliver, of course, the $100 billion rollout, as Rowley said he would do in these communities, to do what? Ironically, to address the question of crime. But yet still, you want to displace them and spread them all over the country. And they are going to continue with what they know, because that is the nature of human beings. That is the nature. They do what they know best. And they will continue so to do until, of course, something much more potent and much more powerful can attract their attention to generate, of course, the paradigm shift that all of us desire. So I just thought I should introduce that. And I know that they are listening. And I believe that we need to alert the authorities, but more significantly, alert you, the population, of that kind of myopic, possibly well-intended policy. But when we look at the general performance of this government, you know there's always something sinister. As we told those persons in the past who were lured, who were hoodwinked into not accepting the Kamala Prasad Bissessa offering, it was the PN himself under Eulalie James who told them that there is a trick. Imagine that. You getting a whole apartment for $100. And the rationale was very simple. You were living there according to the Kamala Prasad Bissessa UNC administration. You were living there for years, generation after generation, and therefore you would have paid quite a lot of money over the years, whether the rent is $100 or not. But the fact is that every month you would have been paying that over generations. And therefore what the policy position and the Kamala Prasad Bissessa UNC administration was simply saying that you deserve those apartments. You have an attachment to these apartments and, of course, the environment you have created. You have added value, even though, of course, that is a arguable position, but you have added value. You have an association with the area. But more significantly, I'm sure that whilst they may not have afford that because it might have been a genuine humanistic response by the UNC and Kamala Prasad Bissessa. But a person like me who, of course, is schooled in criminology will know of the impact wholesale migration or displacement of this group into other parts of the country can only mean more crime and more criminality, but more widespread geographically and otherwise. So I'm not surprised as to what is happening across the country, because contributing, of course, to that is the policy and the program of this administration. So people, I would want to indulge and to encourage you, of course, to maybe speak on this particular topic as well, because it will impact you, and to let the administration know that not only is it myopic, it is asinine, it is dotish, it is inane, and reeks with further socio-economic and psycho-cultural disruptions and devastation for Trinidad and Tobago if they continue on that path for reasons that clearly does not augur well or augment the greater national good, as we have seen in so many instances with this administration. That being as it may, let me go straight, of course, to the headlines. Andy will be joining us momentarily. UN team thanks Trinidad and Tobago for understanding Palestine issue. But of course, we had this delegation here from the UN representing, of course, the issues of the Israeli-Palestine, but more importantly, advocating for a two-nation state solution to the crisis there. Each side recognizing each other, but of course, having regard to what is unfolding on the ground in the Middle East, I think it will take some more time before that could even be achieved, because each side has taken a very stringent and dogging stance. One's trying to eliminate the other. The Palestine, of course, having initiated this last, should I say, flare-up, and the Israelis seem to be unrelenting, being much more powerful, much more mighty in every regard, and therefore they are taking advantage of that. I think is a case now of something that the police officers and in criminology will call, and in law will call, excessive force. Well, I think that is where the argument is now. The initial stage of the conflict, people were saying that the Israelis were justified in retaliating, having been provoked. But now, of course, the almost incessant bombardment and almost some people are talking about genocide. And of course, the Israelis, their history will come to the fore, and their consciousness having regard to the Holocaust during the course of the Second World War and the Nazis' agenda to eliminate the Jews from the face of the earth. So I hope that is a factor that would have been taken into consideration when the Israelis are pursuing, of course, their, should I say, aggression against the Palestinians. That being as it may, House continues a debate on health care delivery. Yes, it is. And this has nothing to do with now. When I was reading the article, I realized that it was since January. So nobody knew by April this disaster, this infanticide, if you want to call it that, under this administration would have taken place, because the minister would have told us, as everything is honky-dory, that of course the mortality rate has drastically been reduced, and of course infant mortality here, as well as of course those who are given the birth, mother mortality would have been reduced considerably, and moving towards, of course, international standards and acceptance. Of course, just as the initial overtures nestled in illusion and delusion we got when the COVID, what turned out to be the COVID crisis in Trinidad and Tobago, culminating in a state of emergency, and the initial stages when the RSing told us that no need to wear masks, no need to social distance, you don't have to focus on social distancing too much. And at the end of it all, there was public health, and of course a series of charges delivered to citizens for not wearing their masks, for their attempts to not social distance, and even of course the people were deprived of even attending the last rites of their dead and departed. But of course that has become stereotypical of this administration, and therefore what we are seeing unfolding now, yes, people, whilst of course we on the last occasion we talked about 16 to 18, well, over the last 2 years, we are understanding now that there's something like 20 something deaths of that nature occurred, according to information gathered by Freedom Law, the Anand Ramlogan practice or chamber, a former Attorney General of course, and of course 17 of which occurred, I think, this year, if I am not mistaken, or in the last Yeah, I think is this year. I will confirm that during the course of the program. I don't want it to be said that we are providing misinformation, because these little numerical differences, even though the fundamental may be correct, is an opportunity for this government to see that somebody is distributing fake news, and we don't want to be caught up in that kind of a scenario, that an opportunism that this government seemed to have an uncanny proclivity to project when they have just a modicum or a window to try to say that somebody is delivering a fake news, when in fact it was just a discrepancy in a number. We saw that, of course, with the expenditure of over $200 million on train one, and then of course because the Lee, I believe one of the deputy political leader of the UNC said, well, it's 400 million, and they made it an issue that it's not 400, it's 200. Well, I'm not recognizing that people like myself will say, Dr. Rowley, you all are so foolish. It could be a cent. You ought not to have spent that kind of money, far less for $200 million on that, and then somehow try to make a nexus between that and getting some share in train 2 and 3, which we didn't have before. Somehow. Because my common sense tells me that whether you had spent $200 million on the train 1, it had no connection, no nexus to a negotiating position by a government representing its people in its best interest, to ask for and gain, of course, shares in train 1 and 2. Has nothing to do with 2 and 3. Has nothing to do with train 1 and the 200 million. That was clearly, especially around the time that it was spent, it was a political campaign slush fund. That is what that was for. Has nothing to do. It was an exercise in profligacy and political grandstanding and unfair advantage at the polls. That's what that was about. There's no nexus whatsoever. You cannot insult the population's intelligence by telling us that because you spend 200 million on something that you will not be able to recoup 1 cent, because there's no gas going there, still no gas, and telling us that help you to get a share in train 3, in train 2 and 4. You're trying to gaslight the people, and that must stop, and we must put an end to it. And of course 2025 must come, but we prefer before, but the inevitable 2025. And then of course I'm certain, as Rowley would like to say, blue lights and silver bracelet will be visiting this entire cabinet for what they have done to the people. Consultative council concern about rubber stamp talk. Yes, indeed. Of course, the NWRHA rejects claims of record delays and tampering. Well, once this admission tells you, once they're in the bad light and they tell you something that appear to be logical in their interest, bet your bottom dollar, as when Rowley tells you to close your eye, you have to keep it wide open. When he tells you to run, you have to stand up like hell. OWTU hopes Gonzales can help TN Tech workers. Well, of course, the negotiations continues as far as outstanding wages are concerned, and emoluments and conditionalities. Way back since I think is 2018, they are negotiating now. Charles, does government fear U.S. over Palestine? Well, of course, that is the Palestinian-Israeli debate, and of course, I think he was more trying to put a wedge there and to see how the government will respond and to draw them out. And I think that is a good strategy. because of course we are yet to recognize Palestine. We as a government, as a nation, through our government, have not recognized Palestine as a country. And Charles is asking the question whether or not, of course, the fear of the U.S. and of course making a nexus between that fear and the dragon gas. A PHA minority leader walks out of a plenary sitting. This is a very interesting one indeed. But I'll get back to that. A senior Kunupia cop, no special treatment to find Ravi B's dog. Of course, that is a situation where Ravi B, of course, the Chutney Soca star, he lost his dog. Somebody stole it, and it was quickly retrieved. And because of that, some people are questioning whether or not the police paid over emphasis as opposed and neglecting other similarly probably, or if not more important, police intervention requirements. So that's a debate that we'll always have. President's office cancels International Food Fair. I didn't get a chance to read that one, but these days, of course, cancellations galore. I got a yesterday, yes, of course. Well, Andy is back. Andy's here. So I will end here by simply, of course, referring to what I wanted to talk about the whole question of what the minority leader in Tobago. Well, of course, he had put a matter for debate in the Tobago House of Assembly, and because of some adjustments made by the presiding officer, he didn't like that, and of course he walked out on his own should I say motion that he moved. That being as it may, of course, I return to Andy. Andy, back to you. And of course, we go for a break, I suspect, and when we come back more, we'll take your calls. On this Friday edition of the Ground Report.
Shiny and Ari Restaurant is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. 67 Western Main Road, St. James, opposite Standards. Serving local breakfast items like sada, fried egg, roast pig, and pies. With all your favorite local fillings. Assorted lunches available from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Get pilau for $25 or get combination lunches from $25 to $40. They also have soup specials as well as crab and dumpling from 6 p.m. Have dinner on the pavement a la carte with burgers, fried nuggets, gyro, and just about anything you can think about. Call 382-9347 to place your order. Shiny and Ari, Main Road, St. James. Open 7 days a week.
The big question today, how much will my electricity bill increase? Stop worrying. Act now. Replace your bulbs with energy efficient LED bulbs now available at Trinity Lighting. When you purchase 4 60-watt LED bulbs for $112.50, you get 2 absolutely free. That's right, absolutely free. Or purchase 3 100-watt LED bulbs for the same price and get 1 100-watt LED bulb free. Trinity also has the following options. Purchase 2 4-foot LED tube or 1 8-foot or 2 LED colored bulbs for the same price, $112.50. At Trinity, we also stock specialty items and a wide range of electrical supplies for all your household, medical, marine, commercial, and much more. Any hard to find bulbs or parts, we can source it locally or international. Check us out at 123 Western Main Road in St. James or call 628-8373, WhatsApp 461-8620 or email trinityetc@yahoo.com.
Mommy, May 4th, I'm doing an early mother's party.
Seriously?
Yes, listen.
Saturday, May 4th, all mothers and mothers-to-be get ready for an early mother's party.
Yes, May 4th, Policeman St. James.
We're interrupting the man.
Well, sorry now. I can't even talk.
Can I continue?
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yes, Saturday, May 4th at the Police Mess St. James from 9 p.m. with DJs
Starboy Carey, Dr. Ross, the old school assassin, music. music chef.
Bass, No Time to Waste, and more. Live performance will be Ziggy Rankin.
Yo, well, it's your boy Ziggy Rankin, and on the 4th of May, I will be at the Police Mess for the early Mother's Party.
Free Hennessy or cupcake and ice cream for the first 100 moms. And a $1,000 door prize for mom. Saturday, May 4th, all mothers and mothers-to-be get ready for an early mother's party. The Police Mess, St. James from 9 p.m.
Wait now, get your early bird $80 tickets at Luna by La Ruca and Police Mess St. James. Hey, all year, let's go! Come on!
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
On Thursday, May 30th, the day of the holiday, get ready to set sail on the ultimate retro experience aboard the party capital of the ocean, the Harbor Master. Pack your coolers and get ready for Retro Rewind. Retro Rewind. The ultimate old school musical journey. Boarding 9 a.m., sailing 10 a.m., featuring the DJs that know how to keep the vibes unstoppable. Ken Simmons and John Boy, third base, No Time to Waste, Dr. Ron, Sensational Sammy, and the Hitman Howie T, juggling the tunes we love.
The Hitman Howie T is coming to Retro Rewind to rip off some serious cassette tunes.
Get your $275 tickets at all cashier outlets and islandetickets.com. Come, relive the moment, live the moment, live the moment. Let the music take you on a musical journey through the years. Retro Rewind. Retro Rewind. On Thursday, May 30th, the day of the holiday. Retro Rewind. The ultimate retro experience of more than
the rainy season is here. So be weather smart and change your tires to handle the nation's wet roads. After all, you don't want to be the one to cause any accidents, do you? So why not check out Racetrack Wheels right now? They're the only one that gives you quality tires to hold the road properly. And to top it off, Racetrack Wheels carries all sizes of tires for all makes of vehicles. They are the sole distributors for Salem and Achilles tires. These tires carry a full manufactured warranty and is the #1 tire for comfort and performance in this rainy weather. We have the latest rims in all sizes, all at drastically low prices. We also do blank wheels that could be drilled to your vehicle specification. It's all about new technology and keeping ahead of the game.
So hurry on down to Racetrack Wheels, 3 locations: 330 Eastern Main Road, Aruca, 82 Bethany Road, Bucco, Tobago, and 64th Southern Main Road, Chase Village, or call 285-9168.
So my friend, take it from me and be weather smart this season and change your tires right now at Racetrack Wheels.
The world of reggae, Saturday, June 8th, Queens Park, Savannah, welcomes the living legends, Shabba Ranks, Barrington Levy, Anthony B.
One thing I can do, one thing I can say. Almighty God, I lead the way.
Maxie Priest,
Oh, baby, baby, it's the wine world.
John Mason, and more. Second edition tickets available now. Courtyard 400, VIP stage front 800. Exclusively at Cachet Nationwide. Larry's Fashion Labels, Chiguanas, Rennie Shoe Store, High Street, San Fernando, Gastro's Arima, and online at Island E-Tickets. For more info, visit Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Keywords World of Reggae. Brought to you by the Ricky Ragunanan Group of Companies and DG Homes.
Yes, indeed. Of course, we are back. Time check is just about 55. Well, that's it. 5 minutes to the hour of 7 o'clock. Yes, indeed. As I said, Andy will join us momentarily. But of course, we continue to treat with the matters of a national and regional and international nature. And I just wanted to just reinforce the point that I left before the break with, and that is, of course, is a case clearly of don't want others to do to you what you will do to others. I think the minority leader in the THA has demonstrated that. And of course, that is unfolding on a regular basis in Trinidad, in the national parliament, and when the speaker appears to be biased, appears to be unreasonable, and of course, from time to time, the opposition walks out because, of course, parler, the French verb to talk, from which, of course, parliament is derived, certainly is emasculated and reduced. And people are not allowed to vent and to, of course, express within, of course, certain rules of the parliament. But then they take the same rules called standing orders. The speaker and or the president, depending on which chamber you're talking about, the presiding officers, in order, of course, to have their way, and there are certain, of course, penalties for not adhering to what may well be an unreasonable decision when one looks at it objectively from a let's say, parliamentary or parliamentarian perspective. In other words, as an ordinary citizen, you must know and have a sense of right and wrong, and what is reasonable and what is not. And we have seen too many instances of unreasonable decision making, especially against the opposition in the parliament. Not to be concerned and to see an infringement, but that should not, of course, give any credence, except to say that in the case of the THA matter with the minority leader, he walked out of the chamber because he simply couldn't present the arguments that he would have liked originally when he, of course, approached the assembly through the presiding officer to get a particular motion debated, because he is saying that it was about sandals and trying to get back sandals, etc. But I suspect that it is more camouflagery than anything else. The intent would have been much more what I consider to be politically advantageous to the PNM, wanting, of course, to get back into office. And for the first time, I want to share this experience with you as well, because, you see, I am satisfied that the PNM is an institution that has evolved into a power-mongering entity. It is not about power to serve per se. It is an effort to gain power for the enhancement and the lining of the pockets of members. I think if I have to give it a percentage, I will say 75% is that, and 25%, of course, is par for the course, because they know they have to deliver to the people, and therefore you will have some policies and programs tending towards servicing the people. But and why I say so, I don't like to talk vike or irresponsibly or without experience, and I think that is the best teacher. I've always said that. All of my students will know that, and all the people who I've interacted with. You see, after the 1991 elections, I wrote to Mr. Manning, the then Prime Minister. His office was in the Twin Towers, the financial towers. And I wrote him a letter asking him to be very careful about, because we just came out of the 1990 coup, and I told him that, of course, I could remember this paragraph, or this line, this sentence, or this paragraph that contained a sentence of the type that I'm not going to share with you, and that is, Laventil will be an active participant in any future upheaval in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, I wanted to meet with him. He invited me, and then I realized that he really called me there to scold me. Of course, I went with the chairman, then attorney at law of the MLIO, the Mobile Laventil Improvement Organization, which I headed and founded. Noel John was the chairman at the time, and Mr. Ramsey, deceased now, God rest his soul. When I went there, Manning was concerned about the letter, and to use his words, it was abrasive, meaning that it was a bit insultive for a big prime minister and a man who, of course, has a lot of pride, etc. And then he made a very poignant statement that resonated with me ever since. You know what he said? He said that don't make joke with politicians. Whilst for some is a joke, for them is bread and butter. And I could never forget that. Let me repeat that again. Manning told me, and the delegation, of course, in the presence of the other members of the delegation, don't make joke with politicians. Whilst for some is a joke, for them is bread and butter. And right away, my head's full. I mean, I could have consumed or probably filled the entire office area that we were talking in, because I wanted to find out immediately. I didn't tell him anything, but in my mind I said, but what about the bread and butter of those young people that we are trying so desperately to assist and to deflect away from negativities and so on. And it is when Dr. Rowley and this administration came into office and their conduct, then I realized what Manning was saying. That is why I could say categorically that 75% of their conduct, of their desire to be in office and to be a political entity ostensibly to serve the people, is really only 25%. 75% is about lining their pockets, about accessing power, the corridors of power, to rub shoulders with what I consider to be the hoi polloi in the society, and to, of course, generate policies and programs in their best interests, but to dominate power, and that is what that is all about. So when I put both of them together, the experience with Manning having told me that don't make joke with politicians, whilst for some is a joke, for them is bread and butter. And then, of course, you see how Rowley has ostensibly, conspicuously addressed government and governance only in the interest of the PNM and those persons who are connected to the PNM and those lackeys and so on. Then you understand, from the president decision to institute a president, to, of course, the various independent institutions, whether it be the Public Service Commission, whether it be the Police Service Commission, whether it be the DPP, whether it be the Elections and Boundaries Commission. You will understand now from my mind's eye, or from my perspective, why it is that we are, or what is accountable for that level of myopia or self-serving or egotistic. And clearly what I consider to be inimical conduct, believing that somehow the PNM must find ways and means to dominate and to engage, of course, like what we see at Balize House and that monstrosity, and they must not account for it. And why they believe that they don't have to account for it is because they believe they will always be in office, and if they are out of office, it's only ephemeral, temporary. Well, we have to show them that the PNM must now be relegated to the dustbin of a political history in this country, and we must only read about them in books moving forward and into the future, simply because nobody who takes over the PNM, in other words, will have a different position. It is about the belief that somehow they have a right to dominate Trinidad and Tobago, to utilize office to decide who must eat and who mustn't eat, get a substantial amount of unmerited benefits to themselves and members of the party and associates, and to hell with the rest of us. No. That paradigm or that tendency must now come to an end, an abrupt end, by 2025. That's the point I am making. But having said that, people, let me just share something with you, because Andy will be with us shortly. He's going to indicate to me. We don't have access to the lines as yet, so I want to tell you that I have a document in front of me called the Trinidad and Tobago lease agreement. It's an agreement that was signed on the 17th of this month, yes, between, of course, the Mobile Lavantil Improvement Organization. This is the organization in who is vested with the property on 55 George Street. So I want to tell you that one time. But I think it's important to let you know that of number 55 George Street, Port of Spain, and owners of all in fee simple the said premises property at number 55 George Street, Port of Spain, hereinafter called the Lesser. So we have leased a portion of the downstairs to, yes, the young people of the area. I'm not going to call the representative name except to say we put in brackets youth community representative. So we have that, and of course that's the address and all of that is there. I'm just going to read about 2 paragraphs to let you know, 2 or 3 paragraphs to let you know what we mean by sustainable development. You see, you cannot have these Vikey, URP, CPEP, MyTap, 6 months to 3 months of program, just to as a whole in bay. You must have a mechanism for sustainable development and visionary longevity. It cannot be ephemeral. As I told Heinz some time ago, when a project was carded for Heliard or phase 5 in the Beetham, and the people started to fight and pull gun and so on, and the contractor could not work. There was a drain to be constructed on the southern side of the priority bus route, but on the northern edge of that particular part of the Beetham. And he was confused, he was amazed that here it is, a drain was to be constructed to alleviate flooding in the area, and the people were fighting, and he couldn't understand that. And I had to tell him, or not directly, but through, of course, mediums such as this, you are so ignorant of the socio-economic and psycho-cultural circumstances of the area that clearly, and we know now, that totally unfit to serve. And we saw, of course, when I think the most, should I say, significant exemplification of that is when, of course, they run him out of the Beetham, of course, under some heavy, dirty water. But in that particular instance, I told him, I gave him the analogy, I said, listen, if you have 100 persons that are roaming in the desert and they are thirsty, and you give them a glass of water, the likelihood that nobody will get is real, because everybody will be gravitating and fighting for that glass of water, and the entire thing will spill, so nobody gets. Because he could understand why it is that you are able to bring that project there and to benefit the people, and he is seeing the benefits as opposed, of course, to the community recognizing that that's an opportunity for me to put some food on the table, etc., and that therefore they are going to fight for it. He doesn't understand that. And I am saying so because this resonates in many parts of the country, particularly in so-called crime hotspots and, of course, depressed areas. That's a fact. What you need to do is to, of course, put a sufficient amount so that a sufficient amount of persons can benefit. Otherwise, you will always find yourself spinning top in mud, where, of course, you provide so little that the entire objective is spilled, and the exercise is an exercise in futility. So I'm making the point to show you. And it is not a matter of you take the horse to the water, or you provide water and the horse in drink. I told him no, it is not even that. Because you see, whilst you may provide the water and the horse may be thirsty, and if the horse is not drinking, it means that something is wrong possibly with the water. The water may be dirty, the horse may be senses some stench, some bacteria, something of the sort. So it needs to be pristine, it needs to be clean, it needs to be crystal. But assuming that the water is palatable and good to drink, and the horse is still not drinking, then it means therefore there may be something wrong with the horse's throat. Something would have prevented it if the horse is thirsty and it has not drunk water that is supposed to be clean and, of course, palatable. then there's something wrong with the horse's throat or something of that nature that you need to also examine. That is the extent to it. But these fellas are so indolent, they're so lazy, they will not go the distance. Well, this arrangement with the young men in George Street and environs certainly is a contradiction, is certainly an acceptance. And when you would have done all what you could do to make sure that the horse drinks water, then of course you know that no more can be done. And therefore, in this particular case, if you give them an opportunity like what I am going to read out to you, and that they still engage, of course, in crime and criminality, then of course the police and the prison and so on is there as the ultimate place where they will end up and responsible for responding to issues like this. But it must not be said that you did not do all what is required, humanly possible. Having regard to the exemplifications that I gave earlier, the analogies that I gave earlier, and therefore I thought I should read, as I said, parts of this lease issued to, of course, those young people. They wanted to set up a business, and I want to tell you, I am extremely enthused and optimistic, because I told them that the organization is prepared, of course, to provide all the resources and, of course, to do up all the upgrading and so on. And that would have been a month ago. They said, no, Mr. Smith, we went on our own and we found, of course, somebody willing to invest on our own volition. And I thought that was fantastic, because here it is, they relieved me of the burden. Well, I won't say the burden in any pejorative or negative sense, but in the sense that I don't have that to say about, and I can go on to other things. And when I am ready, of course, it will just add on or add to what they would have already sought on their own volition. But I think it was fantastic. So immediately, I went over in one of the apartments across there. I got the disagreement ready, and we went and signed it on the 17th. And I want to tell you, of course, let me just read the 2 or 3 paragraphs. 2, for example, paragraph 2 says, or should I say clause 2A says, the premises leased is allocated and demarcated on the ground floor or on the northern end, boundary with of course the Western Boys Government Primary School. B, yes, that one I would read for you, and then let me just read it. I'm not going to think because it's a lengthy document. It's 13 clauses long. 3, the lease shall be in existence for a period of 5 years. Yes, I say let them feel comfortable. 5 years in the first instance, so with the option to renew on expiration of the final year, subjected to the statutory fulfillment of the terms and conditions herein prescribed and agreed to by both parties. Yes, yeah, and of course under conditionalities, 4 conditionalities and considerations. Well, 4 says that the lessee, meaning the young men and them, has exclusive rights to engage in commercial activities on the said premises or property. And then I skip 5 and I go to 6, and 6 says that all activities pursuant of the terms and conditions of this lease shall at all times ensure that the premises is kept clean, environmentally solid, and observe all regulatory and statutory rules associated with the operations of the business as aforesaid and mentioned. Whatever they want to do a wholesale business, incidentally. And then of course the 7 says the lessee, meaning them, is prohibited from any and all subletting, renting, division or subdivision of the premises for any commercial or non-commercial purposes. And 8 says the lessee, meaning those young people who we have engaged this lease with, the lessee is prohibited from engaging in any and or all activities that is contrary to any law. But we must put in that, obviously, we not stupid We know what we are dealing with and the area. Who knows? But they could surprise us. But we want to make sure we give them the opportunity. So let me just start over that. 8 says the lessee is prohibited from engaging in any and or all acts or activities that is contrary to any law, regulation, and or illegality, whether of a criminal or civil nature. So so I am not going to engage believing it will be extremely naive not to put in a clause like this, because of course it's for the organization and my own protection, because I would be the signatory and is the signatory on behalf of the Mobile Laventille Improvement Organization, which owns the building, to of course treat with that matter. What again? So those are the areas. Let me just read the beginning. Agreement made on this 17th day of April in the year of our Lord 2024 between Mobile Laventille Improvement Organization. Right, okay, I said that already. And quite a very progressive development on our own volition. Why the government is unable to give those people the apartments in a lease arrangement so that they could find themselves beginning to be independent, beginning to have some self-respect, and mommy and daddy could now will something to their offsprings. Why? So I asked them to put that to Hines and Scotland. And let's see what they will say. And I told them that I know already what they will say. They will say no, but of course by subterfuge, either by delaying, by saying yes, and at the end of the day, when you insist, they will then say no. I put it to somebody, and they nearly kill me, and I can't die for you yet. I am talking here about Mr. Manning himself. When CPEP was to be initiated, as Mr. Barbara Gray Burke, of course, Mother Randu, when she was alive, and myself visited or had a meeting with Mr. Pandey. Mr. Manning at the time. And he intimated to us that CPEP will be, of course, an initiative that he wants to implement as a national program. And he said, and he told the Archbishop, that listen, Archbishop Burke is alive, so she would be able to ratify that as a witness. He said, Archbishops, you're not leaving here empty-handed. We are going to launch a program called CPEP, and I am going to ensure that Mr. Smith becomes a director of that CPEP initiation because of the work that he has been doing in the Laventille and environs community. Let me repeat that. Mr. Manning, in the presence of Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke and the late Randu, told us at Whitehall by that time that, of course, I would be made a director of CPEP, the first CPEP ever. And guess what? By the time I got back to him, he told me what I just said earlier, that he put my name to a committee and they want to kill him, and he ready to dead for me yet. People, of course, I got the signal. I assume back to you. Should I say Central? Back to you in studio.
Looking for top quality and affordable hardware supplies? Then look no further than Midland Hardware, number 97 Eastern Main Road, Aruka. We stock a wide range of tools, water tanks, blocks, lumber, steel, and everything you need for your home and business project. Check out our new display of steel windows and assorted designs of metal curtain rods. Midland also stockpiles sand, gravel, topsoil, and more. We have a variety of kitchen faucets, face basins, and toilet sets, bathroom mat sets, all garden tools, hand tools, generators, power washers, and water pumps. Customers can make payments via links, credit card, online payment, and cash on delivery. WhatsApp 7761 for free quotations, or give us a call at 646-2144. Open every day, Sunday to Sunday from 8 a.m. From foundation to finish, it's all at Midland.
For over 100 years, radio has been the most accessible, and to date, it's still the most listened to medium everywhere. More FM 104.7 is programmed so you can hear us everywhere. Never miss a beat. This station and its programming is fit for the listeners everywhere with the most variety in Trinidad and Tobago. You are guaranteed to reach your target market with More FM 104.7. Get more sales, get more clients. Book your ads today by calling us 221-4913.
Fuck it together when you're rolling a friend, or movie night when you're home on the ends. Beach lime, house lime, every time's a good time. KFC in every bucket you'll find. Ooh, it tastes so good. After party is a mood. Let's bucket together. KFC is the perfect partner to make your good times much better. Gather round and enjoy the fun with KFC. Bucket together.
Bucket together with KFC and enjoy 8 pieces of chicken and 3 regular sides for only $139.95. KFC, it's finger licking good.
A lucky homeowner will win a brand new car. Yes! A brand new Mitsubishi Expander Cross. Yes, park in your 4-vehicle parking space. Limited availability. Get in a gear with DG Homes' newest gated community, Daniel Estate. The oasis of Cunupia will satisfy your needs for a new lifestyle. Beautifully designed, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, modern interior, sophisticated finishings, with superbly manicured landscaped green spaces, front and backyard included, starting at $1.65 million. Call now and book a viewing. 691-5659. Beautiful home, beautiful car, beautiful life. Home is DG Homes, Daniel Estate, Cunupia.
Trinidad and Tobago, welcome Mr. Keith Anthony Blair, the original fireman, Anthony B. Anthony B. Anthony B. The World of Reggae, Saturday, June 8th, Queens Park, Savannah, featuring Anthony B.
Good time for the good vibes. Your virgin is your virgin, sister is your sister.
Anthony B. with full band, headline performances by the legends of reggae, Shadow Ranks, Darrington Levy, Maxie Priest, Shawn Mason, and more. For more info, visit Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Keywords World of Reggae. Brought to you by the Ricky Ragunanan Group of Companies and DG Homes.
Hey, you! Yes, you! Need quality printing at affordable prices? Then look no further. At Graphic Source, we've got you covered. Take your project to the next level for all your designs and printing needs. From t-shirt printing to labels, signs, and banners. Look no further. Business stamps, flyers, tickets, and invites, just to name a few. With 2 convenient locations. Eastern Main Road, St. Augustine, opposite Massey Stores. And Arima Shopping Center, Broadway Street, Arima. Contact us today. 342-2664, 270-0428, or 360-8917. Graphic Source, your #1 source. You name it, we design it and print it.
Masha, I ain't gonna lie, Baila Luna was real nice. I feel I want to try a thing, girl.
You serious? Let me hear you. Try a thing.
Yeah, man. Daniel Top, anything we say, we never allow Daniel Top.
Skull, no. The talent that came here at La Luna, yeah, ready for them yet? No. Sunday, 28th of April, Kirby's Barton Lounge comes alive. Chase Village in Chaguanas, as it's the Kiskity Caravan Talent Search comes alive. Bring your talent and car. Can you sing? Be sure to bring your flash drive with your accompanying music if so needed. It's all about the relaunch of the Kiskity Caravan. Auditions start promptly at 2 p.m. Be on time. No matter your talent, bring it and come. And follow our TikTok page today, Iconic 1047. Just look for our logo. Be there this Sunday. Cause you feel as you alone practicing. You feel as you alone practicing. Unbreak my heart.
Hey, oh God, your voice husky like a coconut. That man get through.
More music festival.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Of course, we are back. Time check is just about 26 minutes past the 7 o'clock. Of course, Andy will join us momentarily. In the meantime, and just for your information as well, I just wanted to, of course, share with you in that particular list with those young people the terms and conditions of termination. I think is very important. This lease can be terminated in the event of the following: A, and that is clause 13 of the lease: bankruptcy or liquidation of the lessee. That's A. B, evidence of corrupt practices or gross misconduct and or the use of the said property that is or are a material breach of this lease agreement, including, of course, conduct acts of a criminal or civil nature. C, a breach of any fundamental obligations agreed to by both parties under the lease agreement and or any other substantial indication that the terms of this agreement have been gravely violated. And D, of course, on the termination of this agreement by notice or otherwise, both parties agree to undertake and or meet any compensation that may have accrued caused by the said termination, and in particular meet all legitimate and bona fide claims submitted by either party to this agreement. You know, in all of this as well, you must have a sum. Well, let me tell you. 11 says, clause 11 says, listen to this. Clause 11 says, A. 11A says, the lessee, meaning the young people, shall pay to the lessor, which is, of course, the organization, the MLIO, the sum of $300 on or before the last day of each month for the duration of the lease. So they have it for $300. Of course, they were telling me to put more. In fact, they were telling me to go as far as $3,000. And I said, no, this is an opportunity, and we want, of course, to maintain that. And B, of course, the first payment shall begin on the last day of the month after the signing and or the commencement of this lease, subject to any reasonable intervening issue or issues. Well, of course, there is an intervening issue. So this month will come to an end and they will not be able to pay simply because they have not yet secured, of course, and they have not stock up and refurbished the premises, etc. So so long as that doesn't happen, then of course there will be no obligation on them to pay, even though of course it may technically infringe the agreement. So it is an absolute opportunity for them, in other words, and that is how policies and programs must be shaped. You cannot tell me that you are providing for example, MyLap and MyTap, and you give them 3 months training in a particular direction. I have told Mr. Manning, and you know I'm talking there because I have had that experience. This fella here, he is a total dunderhead, a rockhead, and believes that he knows everything, but of course a total ignoramus really. I'm talking about Rowley here. But this fella, and I've never asked him for a meeting anyway, simply because I think he's obnoxious, and certain overtures that he would have made that it gives me a phobia to, of course, be in the same room with this man. But the fact of the matter is that if you are having, and I told Manning that if you are having YTEP, MyLap, etc., then it is easy if they have a, let's say cursory or rudimentary training in whatever area. All you need to do is to take the phone at the expense of the state and call businesses and send them to a job one time. Send them into temporary work one time. Because they could only have a maximum of 3 to 6 months in training. So what you do, you leave them to the women fancy of the negative elements. The devil always find work for idle hands. So what you do, you must have a mechanism there, separate and maybe in addition to that of the on-the-job training, for example, but that institution to which they were attached and got their initial exposure. Somebody must be there to pick up the phone and say, call the port, or call Bhagwan Singh, call a construction firm, or call a transportation firm, etc., and encourage them to take these young people and send them further and give them greater exposure, etc., so they understand the world of work, the real world of work, and not leave them to be in fallow. I've said that, and I've also recommended that at the end of the substantive year of school, every July, there are something like 13 to 19,000 persons coming out of school, completing their secondary school life. Why not have one office, one institution to coordinate all of these programs? There's almost 50 programs, but each one is an island unto themselves, and they start at different times, etc. So have one coordinating entity managing all of these programs. That's all, because they may be housed in different ministries. That doesn't stop that, but have one coordinating with representation from all of these ministries on that coordinating committee. And then they go to schools. It could be clusters of schools, so that if you go to Malik and you use Malik as the place where those from Success Laventille and those from the Mova Secondary School can go to after they would have completed their exam, and they go there and register for these very programs and get them into a program immediately after they would have completed their August holiday. That's what you do. So you do not leave them 3 and 4 and 5 months, far less for 3 and 4 and 5 years, to be exposed to the negative elements. And you have control. You don't need to have military and what the ministers suggest as what? As some kind of military-led imposition that they must go and do some kind of training that way. No, you have the system there. Just tweak it and streamline it so that you do not find yourself having to treat with the lack of what I consider to be action and or work for these young people or activities for any extensive period, because Satan find work for idle hands. So when when the child finishes exam or finishes his or her secondary system presence, and mommy and daddy still have to go to work, and you are exposed to all of the negative elements, particularly in what area? In, of course, crime hotspots, as the police will define, sociologically depressed communities. You send them into a program one time by having a cadre of persons in, as I said, one school representing a cluster of schools, and they just say you want to go into Whitep, you want to go to Mylap, Hype, whatever, and you send them there one time when they would have completed, of course, their holidays by September. That is what you do, Dr. Rowley and the PNM. That is what I expect the UNC to do, and that is what they will do. They are not stupid as you. You must find ways and means of treating with these young people and making certain that you give them ample and all the opportunities. After that, you say, well, yes. Now you could say that they don't want anything or it will take some a little longer to appreciate what they are getting. But if they find themselves, of course, in the hands of the police or in prison and so on, you cannot say that you didn't do all that is required. It is not sufficient to say conveniently that you love the African community, because it's the African community that is in danger. And to say that you're going to call Emancipation Day African Emancipation Day does not augur or does not add value or does not transform or does not generate the paradigm shift or the attitudinal change that is required in order to make certain that they are on the straight and narrow and that they can make use of the opportunities presented them optimally, and of course make something of themselves, and they therefore do not burden the community as we are seeing today. That is what we are talking about. Common sense is not as common as one would expect in this government, most of whom claim that they went to university. I question their degree. I question the school that they blasted went to, having regard, of course, to the kind of contradictory outcomes. They always are optimistic. From sandals come right back. And at the end of the day, it turns out to be failure. It turns out to be as if they are cursed. When in fact, they have the wrong people, the wrong policy, not well thought out. And at the end of the day, come in our faces, have the audacity, the temerity, the gall, and the effrontery to come in our faces and tell us that, listen, we give them this and we give them that, and we spend this and we spend that. I heard Heinz only this morning talking about they spend so much money on young people and training, etc., etc., but yet still, this is the outcome. You fool! You fool! It is not just that. It is exactly what I just told you. And you all of you, none of you have the experience. And I see, of course, people like Cummins, you don't know if he's coming or he's going. Having 400 persons apply in a program called agricultural development. Only 200 could train. But at the end of it all, only about 40 of them could get the final product, which of course is $10,000 and maybe a homestead farm to engage subsequently. That is nonsense. This requires a mass intervention because a massive amount of young people that are out there. July coming, which is soon, some 13 to 18,000 people will meet the 13 to 18,000 that left school last year, July. And all of them will meet up the 18,000 that left school the year before, and the year before, and the year before. What are you doing? What are you doing? You are nurturing and you are spawning a society of evil. It's simply because you want to stay in office per se, full stop, and you ignore your role and responsibility, but of course give us a set of hyperboles and grandiloquent language that does not cut it, because at the end of the day, as I have been saying 2 days now on the corridor transformation and here as well, that this government is a harbinger, it is a purveyor of death crime-wise, death, COVID, and now death of infants, infanticide, geronticide, and homicide. People, we need to get serious, you know. We need to get serious and understand what is facing us. I may not be here to see the promised land, age and other biological factors notwithstanding. But if we can lay the foundation now for our young people to feel hopeful and optimistic, particularly those who are most vulnerable, and we accept that there is a vulnerable group, largely due to circumstances that they would have created, but antecedents prior to their coming into this world. But we must be able to address these problems well thought out, logically and common sense, rather than the garrulous orations that we have and have been experiencing by so-called leaders, including the Prime Minister and, of course, the PNM and the government and the cabinet of this country. We must have a duty and responsibility, man. And if we can do this with very limited resources, how come? Billions of dollars. You take loans here, you take loans there. The same children have to, of course, pay that when you would have exited. You met 10 billion, and as I was saying, I only recently realized that what I was saying has now been realized, because when Imbert and them were saying that the reserves is now 6 billion, I was saying it's closer to 5 or 4 billion. Well, it is confirmed that there's about 5 point something. Yeah. So we are nearing broke, if not broke. And you'll understand why they have to, of course, knee-jerk response, not well thought out, and adding more pressure on an already extremely pressurized society that could only result in the exacerbation of the social issues that we are facing, whether in the schools, whether in the workplace, whether on the streets, whether in depressed communities, and of course, whether in the police service, the prison system, and of course in the judiciary. All are under pressure because of poor management of the society and myopic thinking by, of course, these so-called policymakers who are only window dressers or exemplifies window dressing, but they're extremely hollow, myopic, lack of vision, and worse yet, they have an implementation deficit of an extreme dimension. I know that Andy will give me the signal, the appropriate signal to suggest that he's ready, and that the lines, as I said, we have a difficulty with the lines. Where I am, I will not be able to engage, but of course, a central control, if you want to call it that, has that responsibility. But I thought I should use the opportunity clearly to expatiate and to, of course, express my deep concern and to show the nation, not the government per se, they are on their way out. If I'm talking about government, it's the incoming government as to what is possible. You see, we have done it already, so it's so experience the best teacher. I always say that. We had the British High Commission, the Indian High Commission, the Germans, the Americans walking up and down these streets. Even in the good days of Venezuela, we had the Venezuelan ambassador as well walking these streets. And what was the intention? It's never a singular, self-gratifying, and of course wanting to show off or to show that you can do it. No, it's not about that. When we asked these people to come, as the British have already agreed, and the Germans said no, they have a security issue and therefore they will not come. But I am not taking no for an answer. I could assure you they will end up in these parts, walking the streets. But the point I'm making is this. One of the reasons for inviting them to come here is to, of course, attempt to reduce the advisories against Trinidad and Tobago in their home country. Every single country in North America, Europe, that has or have a relationship with Trinidad and Tobago will tell their citizens, if you're coming as a tourist, whether you're coming as a tourist or a business person or an investor, don't come to Trinidad. And if you do come, don't go to Nelson Street. But yet still, Dr. Rowley puts desperados on Nelson Street. Not to say he doesn't know, and has the audacity, the temerity, the gall, and the effrontery to tell the desperados, and by extension the people of East Port of Spain and Lavatil, etc., that he doesn't want to hear that when next he comes back there, or goes back there, that who kill who, etc., etc., having fomented, having gone, of course, in the devil's paradise, when he could have left desperados on Chagrin Road, and the beautiful description that he gave, it is almost euphoric. When he would have told desperados that when a tourist come, they will go around the savannah, witness, of course, QRC and the Magnificent Seven, including, of course, the office of the president and that of the Prime Minister, Whitehall, and then come down Charlotte Street and then go across Piccadilly Street and then go down Nelson Street to say that would have been a reality and a pragmatic and a practical experience if the option of leaving desperados on Tragridge Road, but not on Nelson Street. When the citizens of these countries who would come as tourists here, and God knows we need, of course, that diversification Philip. Not when, of course, their governments are telling them, don't come to Trinidad in the first place, whether you're an investor or a tourist. But if you do, don't go on Nelson Street. Rowley and them know that. I tell you, Rowley, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Hines, and all them know that. It is a requirement that they know. All of the embassies and emissaries that represents, of course, these foreign countries know that are resident here in Trinidad, including the United Nations and other multilateral and international agencies from the UN, etc., that are here. They know that. But Rowley puts the arguably best steel band in the world on Nelson Street. Put them on Nelson Street, people, and all of the advisories to those who may come and provide an opportunity for our young people, because the more you expand the economy, the more you provide opportunities. In other words, by investment of one kind or another, the greater the possibility that the people, all of our young people will get a job. As every year you have 13 to 18,000 of them coming out of school. And Rowley will make an investment of $14 million on Nelson Street to put desperados. That is treason. Don't care what political coat you're wearing. That is treason. And no one can countenance that. That is deliberate. That is wicked. That is nasty. That is diabolical. That is devilish. That is Luciferian. Understand that? No way in any self-respecting democracy. And I'm sure that because we are a self-respecting democracy, we have not taken the barbaric or the Neanderthal approach in treating with people like that who will conjure up that level of evil for the collapse of the society. The deliberate, or put another way, the avoidable collapse of the society. That is what Rowley and them have done to us. And there are those who are still trying to defend that. How is that pardonable? How it is possible? You must be constant like the Northern Star. You must be immutable like a scent you can't change. To know that when you get the opportunity, you ram your finger But of course, you stamp first on the rising sun, or any combination thereof, and tell Dr. Rowley and them to walk the plank politically and into oblivion, into permanency, regardless of their attempt to generate, of course, what is clearly an auto coup. Rowley has nurtured, created, and superintended over auto coup, a type of coup where a government, a party in government, use state apparatus and resources, our monies and our resources, to stay in government and to infiltrate as they have, whether it be EBC, whether it be, of course, the DPP, whether it be the Police Service Commission, whether it be the Police Complaints Authority, etc., etc. Because we know what is there. We know. So people, I thought it was important, of course, to treat with that matter, having gotten the opportunity. And I'm awaiting, of course, the signal from Central Control in order to, of course, terminate my...
Bang, 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 bang.
Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed. Well, yes.
4.7.
I had that.
Nice. What are we gonna do? Sorry for my tardiness. You know where this go. Today, unfortunately, I also dropped my daughter to school, the maxi leaver. And she was just crying. I say, boy, Lennox, boy, you gotta get my pull out there, you know, boy. But remember, we are all human. Same things you all face, the same things Lennox face, the same things I will face.
Out of the ashes we rise. There's no one like you.
And duty call, because always remember, I always tell you all, it must be God, and our family comes first.
Our God is greater. Our God is
That was to make that drive, do what to do, to come back to you, the people. And we need to go to the lines. Because on the move, I was listening to Lennox, and he brought out a lot. Yep. So numbers to call: 229-0251, 229-0251, or 239-5120, 239-5120, or send us a WhatsApp call or a voice note at 366-3053, 366-3053. Oh boy, let's go to the lines. Good morning, caller. Where are you calling from? What's your contribution to the Ground Report this morning?
Morning, Ground Report. It's Puna here, fellas. You know, Andy Lennox, it is amazing, eh? This government wants to do away with the Privy Council. But what I start to laugh at is that Rowley and them talking about, you know, with the drug, DSS money, where they see the $1 million and things and whatnot. You want to do away with the Privy Council, but here we're Rowley boasting on. I call on the British government to send the police to investigate this matter because they don't trust the local police and the army and whatnot and things. You want to do away with the blasted Privy Council because it's colonial thing, but yet still you want to contact them to come and investigate this thing. And these people is a bunch of notice people, boy. They have no sense whatsoever. But what is amazing, that Andy, Lennox, I read on the papers, I had the article somewhere here, where they put, you know, with the Paho people down here, and they're saying that they're giving the media an ultimatum that if you want, the media people have to hear what the guidelines for them. They say that they must have, let me have it here. They must have short sleeve shirt, short nails, no short pants, no short sleeve, no slippers, no jewelry, and avoid loud cologne. In other words, strong smelling perfume and whatnot, and no sleeveless clothing and footwear, and everything must be fully covered. I want to know if it is, because this is some of the concern that the law for Alan Ramlogan, and they're expressing some concern whether there was strict adherence to the protocol of some of these nurses and the healthcare providers who were frequenting these wards where the babies and them were. Now you want to tell me after this damn thing happened, you now calling on the media people to exercise this caution and whatnot, and whether we want to know if these things were done in the very beginning that could have avoided this contamination that took place. So it just leads you to wonder that whether this government, and Andy, I am seeing a whole cover-up in this thing going on here, you know. This is our next pariah thing and tragedy, you know, Andy, because the people who you're supposed to have there to investigate, which is the families who the mothers and fathers and so of these babies who died, have the nursing people, have the medical people, and all other people that could be, you know, that you could interview and get their opinion. Just don't take the opinion of the government side of it, because they have been doing this for too long. And I'll say this, that when you had a downgrading by Standards and Poor's and of the economy, they say that was the information that was provided to them, you know, by the government. And as a consequence, they were given good rating. And only to get to realize that they were lying to these people. So I am saying, we cannot take their words for granted, and we are calling for other people to be involved in this investigation. And you see what they did?
Thank you very much. We're calling for the people to get a part of this investigation. Oh boy, let's go to the lines. Morning caller. Go ahead, caller.
I don't want to ask for no extra time this morning, so I'm getting straight to the point. You hear on the news with some CEO somewhere from the city corporation where they're investigating corruption, and they send she on leave, and they just bring somebody one time in she place. So according to Will Lennox saying, we have so much UV graduate here with all kind of qualification. All you can't bring new people. All you picking people. Way to do all your thing for you to cover up, and with Tenapuna say is the same thing like Paria, is the same thing like the hospital and Trinidad and Tobago. I listen to Lennox just now. I want to know how much people listening to these things, if it's the minority or the majority. Because I observe, we watch word. The watchword in Trinidad and Tobago is corruption. Nobody in vote in both. And a man calling yesterday and talk the truth by saying they can't put in both as no political leader to contest no election because they wouldn't vote him, because we know he's the 1%. So he ain't getting no vote. But you have Rowley there in the black suit doing the work for the 1% who parents had been in slavery and bringing we back into slavery. But if you see them police and them, boy, them police and them glad to give people ticket and points, you know. Them police happy. But if you from south and you don't know a place in town and you make a turn it in and nothing about okay, no chance, you know. Right? Sour Corporation, all investigating corruption. HDC, all you bringing 3 new company with Newman George and them, but all you had the same HDC people doing the work and telling them they had to come over with no service. Right? Look how much thing Newman George name in. Eh? Just imagine, as well Lennox saying, I work for Gerard Hines, Rowley and them in both and them to walk down Charlotte Street without security. We be so love like what Sadiq Bash used to do, or what Jolene John could do. Let them walk through town like normal and show people the love people have for them. They have to go anywhere with about 50 police, 100 police because they ain't clean. Trinidad and Tobago, this thing getting more and more serious. I hear this scrap iron man talking last night. I frightened for him because he say, you know where the drugs coming in. He know how much big gun and we're coming in. You remember Trinidad and Tobago when Mr. Manning talk about Mr. Big. They call him in a private meeting to call election. And the next thing they put Rowley there, you know. Don't feel we PNM black people we're voting really have say, you know. It's the 1% after election. Try and remember when one of them gets on the national TV and say they are small, but they are very powerful. As Rowley win, they declare who controlling this country. Man, no extra time for Malcolm X. But let me tell all you something. I ain't sleeping because I watching the protests. And right now, all them universities in America protesting. You know, in one protest, 100 people get locked up. And in Trinidad here, we have more important thing than that to protest for. And 10 people afraid to get locked up. I will tell all your boys, you have to come out in force. Come out in force. This little spot meeting, Mikey K. Abu Bakr do it and he get the, what they call the grassroots people. It's how people go watch all yours, UNC and this. Although we have to mobilize the people to save the country and not dealing with politics. We have to get rid of corruption. We have to start locking up people who mismanaging and who actually getting kickback from corruption. A blessed weekend. Are you ready for anything or no? Anything, because partner, it's a real people these days getting cancer and prostrate and dying. They out of dead from them things.
Good morning, caller. We're calling from. What's your contribution to the Ground Report this morning?
Hi, good morning, gentlemen. Yeah, I have been listening to Lennox and even Malcolm X there. Let me tell you now, all what they are talking about is the truth, and let me tell you now, the people know, they know, everybody know, but guess what? They like it so. You understand? Great is the PNM. They don't care if PNM kill them. And the last night I sat down there because I usually watch Stefan after. And I was watching Breaking Down. And he showed over 10 minutes of that Couva hospital. Andy, I sat down there and I could not believe my eyes. You understand? I could not believe that this was in Couva. I could not believe that this was in Trinidad. I could not believe that this is the same Couva Children's Hospital that the or the license say had nothing in it. And at the end, this wasn't something that they make up. It was the truth, the whole story, nothing but the truth. But Andy, I cannot understand how the opposition, my UNC, sat down there for 9 years and let the ILC and this government destroy this hospital without having the children have use of it. This thing is impossible. You understand? These people are a set of heartless, criminals. And Andy, I am as the man I heard Ferguson saying last night about the big guns and the cocaine that coming into this country like groceries. You understand? And he said that to make 1990 look like a tea party. You think they don't know? They know. But the new scene now is the police terrorizing poor people, terrorizing motorists. You hear? Everybody complaining, and what they doing? Nothing. You hear? People getting tickets for this, ticket for that. Numeric points. People who are using their cars to make a living, they're making sure they take them out the road. You hear? Police all about terrorizing citizens for nonsense. And while they out there terrorizing motorists, them is traffic police. You understand? Old people dying. You understand? More murders and murders. You understand? Home invasion. Look how many pensioners died for the past couple days. Look how much crime taking place in this country. Crime is on the increase. Are we seeing the police going to these areas and getting the guns? Are we seeing the people going and hold these people who are going into people's homes? Are we seeing the police going to hold these people who killing senior citizens to take their pension? So much crime, and we cannot get a breakthrough. We cannot get a breakthrough with this crime situation. But yet still, we have police east, west, north, and south terrorizing motorists without a cause. And then what are they doing? What are the people doing? Nothing. And as the ad that Mikey used to say, everything we're talking about, they know everything. But they like it so, or you continue voting for the PNM. Andy, when I watched that hospital there last night, Andy, I could not catch myself. I could not believe it. And to think, the Alsing is still there. What is wrong? I actually question a million times, who has to deal with the Alsing and this government to get rid of this man? This thing cannot be allowed to continue. Where the power of the people? Where the power of the opposition? Where the power of the law? These people have to be dealt with, Andy. This is a critical situation. Serious things going on in this country, and they have to be fixed, Andy. They have to be fixed. Oh God, every day is a different story. But look now, let me tell you now, bad things will continue to happen when good people decide to do nothing. Andy, this place must be fixed, because you know what? We want to live better. Blessings.
Morning, caller. We're calling from. What's your contribution on the Gong Report this morning?
Morning, Andy. Andy, I don't think anything good will come out of that with the babies and them. Once you see this administration, because when you watch the Minister of Health, how he talking, is a set of lies coming out from that mouth. It's a edge. And we know that you wouldn't build a hospital without equipment. That is false. They want to say the hospital was built without equipment, and that's a damn lie. And the Minister of Health, he know that lie too. And once the Prime Minister of this country had said, who live and who die. You understand? So that is what we see now. But the only good thing will come out of that is Ram Logan and his batches of lawyers will bring justice to the babies and their families. That is the only good thing I see will come out of it. Right? The people and them, they come here poor people. The government here want them to feel nice and make it look nice. Make it look nice. We can nice, they know we suffer it and all what we're going through here. But they want to paint that picture. Or they want to paint that good picture. Nothing good will come out for that.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Good Good morning, caller. Where are you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground?
Hi, good morning, Andy. Good morning. You know, sometimes things happen and we can't control it. We can't control it. And that is what was one of the things with you this morning. But you know, something that I forgot to do when you came back on the show, Andy, was to thank Lennox and Mikey for the good job that they did. They really, really pulled this program together. And Lennox did a good job this morning. You know, sometimes it's because of the situation, you forget to thank people, but I'm doing so this morning. They did a really, really good job. And then, as I said, Lennox did a good job this morning holding on for you. Woodbrook, wonderful contribution as usual, but the opposition did not sit down and see this place being destroyed. I don't know if you remembered, but there was a protest, a big protest, over 3,000 of us. Yes, I have to say of us. We protested in front of that Coover Children's Hospital a couple of years ago. I was part of that protest. You hear? And they have been clamoring and hammering for that hospital to be open. But you see, what happened to these babies, it hurt us. It rocked us to the core. People who have a heart, but apparently it didn't rock the PNM. But you know what? That happened to shake this country, to open their eyes, to see the neglect that is being carried out by this government against patients in this country. Helpless patients. And if that did not happen, we are sorry it happened. If that did not happen, we would not have known what it is was going on. The lies from the Alsing, telling people that there's no NICU there. And that is a lie. There's a NICU, there's a maternity department. It was a fully equipped hospital. But you know what was hurtful, Andy? A man got killed in the States at the hands of a police. Right? But the people down here don't know the man from Adam, but they were protested all over the place because Black Lives Matters. But apparently, baby lives don't matter. There should have been massive protests with those babies' death. Where is the protest? And now they are saying, want to shut up people? No, they are saying, no, we can't hit the streets because we hit the airwaves. And he was very selective when he said, certain media, we know who's the certain media he's talking about. We know that. He's not talking about the ones that pay to hide the story. No. And he's talking about the UNC and certain media politicizing it. No. Nobody's politicizing it. We don't want all it to sweep it under the carpet like what you all did with the divers. Those are innocent babies. They did nothing to you all and they did not deserve what it has happened there. You hear? So if you feel the all saying that we are going to shut up, right, to please you lie. Because we know when all they get that report, all they're going to sanitize that report. That is not going to be laid in Parliament. They're going to have to beg all to lay that in Parliament, like with the divers, right? But I am telling you, you see what all they don't miss from man, all they're not going to miss it from God. Because God's justice is the best justice. Thanks a lot and have a good one, Andy, and take care.
Good morning, caller. Where are you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Andy for Grandy. And Grandy for Andy. And you see why it is we need the foreign observers to fight the EBC. Because no more of Rowley and the Alsing and them and the nastiness. Because we're seeing how they're twisting everything. Good morning, Andy, Lennox, Mikey, and UB and Trinidad and Tobago. Andy, is a simple thing, you know. The Alsing saying that the Chinese contractor and the Chinese government of the Republic of China is lying, you know. That people has seen that and understanding what the Alsing is doing. He's saying that the People Republic of China head, the Prime Minister, the President, is lying because in the contract, what I understand, right, they had given all these equipment, right? And they had make sure through a grant and the company building at the hospital. I wonder, because of the COVID, non-disclosure vaccine, where they part up, he feel that he bought the Chinese too. That they went to. So it's a simple thing. It will write the Chinese, the Republic of China embassy in Trinidad to ask them what was the terms and conditions and what was the donation made for the hospital and all what the supply. Simple like that. So the whole thing, not because India moved all these 1 cent from this country, don't feel people have sense. And the nice thing about it, Andy, we as a people will unite and we'll vote them out. Have a nice day and a weekend.
Good morning, caller. Where are you calling from? What's the contribution on the Gong Report this morning?
Good morning, Andy. I'm calling from Diego Martin, Mikey, and Lennox. You understand what the PNM government is doing with the health system and by extension with the Couva Hospital? They're playing football with it, you know, because yesterday they went to a cricket festival and we spending taxpayers. Let me tell you, judgment is coming on them, you know. They're bringing back Harvey to go, probably to screen him, to win the Christians. Because what they did, they allow a blessing of 18 mothers to have a baby. That is a God gift to mankind, to these parents. And the PNM government created an environment, facilitated an environment that snuffed the life out of those children. What God has given you, no man should take it. And the Yalsing has not shed a tear for these kids as yet, these young babies who cannot basically do anything. All they could do is cry for their milk and the mother comfort and the warmth of the mother. That is what this callous government has been doing to society and to the citizens, to some of the citizens. I wouldn't say all, because they borrow $8 billion to facilitate the electioneering activity, to give them. Yes, see a lot of Christians lining up to get our money. A lot of the, look at this thing, you change emancipation. Everybody know what emancipation Day is synonymous of. But them fellas lining up for the Kankatang that they will get from the 8 billion they're borrowing. That is what they're doing. I mean, they say it hurts me to hear all of these things and all of them ministers going down to a cricket conference. And that cricket conference is to beat up the West Indies Cricket Board about the CPL. And the Honorable Senator Anil Roberts 8 years ago said the CPL contract was at variance to the development of West Indies cricket and by extension development of things. You understand what I'm saying? So they have been a whole big conference, spending a lot of taxpayers' money, and they could engage Anil Roberts so you get them direction. And you realize Irfan Ali, the leading CARICOM leader here, wasn't there, and he basically was via video. And what he's saying, you say West Indies cricket has to grow out of West Indies cricket. It has to become part of America cricket. That is what vision is. America is the next place for global cricket. And we, as a small nation, we cannot use the Jack Warner model for CONCACAF and American football and things. We have to develop our own model, probably takes the good out of the CONCACAF and FIFA and develop cricket. And Irfan Ali has understood that. We have a little CARICOM meeting here, Rowley, trying to deflect all the crime, all the murders, all the babies' death, to bring everybody to give him some sort of promotional activity to save his skin. Karma go take care of here, you know, and karma is neither male or female. Karma is justice. I'm going to have a nice morning.
Thank you very much. And don't forget to run Stefan Run 5K and Fun Walk 2024. Part proceeds go to the Diabetes Association of Trinidad and Tobago. And that will be taking place this Sunday, the 28th, start time 6:30 a.m. There are cash prizes to be won, medals and many more. Don't forget that. Let's go to the lines. Oh boy. Morning, caller.
Yeah, morning, Andy. Morning to all the Lennox, Mikey, UB, and all the Ground Report family. Well, what is taking place in this country at the moment, all the wickedness and everything that goes with it, the people still sit down and, life as usual and everything hunky-dory with most of them. But if the people were serious, they would just get up, rise up, and try to eliminate all these things that's happening now in the country, innocent babies dying and, murders and a lot of things that should not be happening. It's happening, and the health minister on the whole, he should have been sent packing, and everything should have been, the people should have been on the street. But in Trinidad here, everything is a joke, and life continue as normal, and the PNM, they do what they're doing as what they want, how they want, and when they want. Have a nice morning.
Thank you very much. Oh boy. Morning, caller. Where calling from? What's your contribution on the Ground Report this morning?
I calling from the Beta, Mandy. The message good morning to is newbie, Mikey K, Lennox Smith. But I didn't get to hear too much of Lennox this morning because anytime you turn on the station, it's always Lennox. Nevertheless, Andy, that's sometime I said, and to you, Malcolm X, and everybody, that we're going to next year in a general election with everybody just talking, No, I support all who have the funky, the walk for peace. I support all those initiatives, All of them I support. But when we had to ask for permission to go from here to there and to deliver a letter, they said delivering a letter over in Andy and Mikey can all day, like everybody just get covered. All I know, Mikey said when Mikey at that time Mikey said when you call say what did they say what Rowley we don't afraid you? Well Rowley I afraid you boy. I afraid you. Because the whole I the only person like in care about here. I talk about politically, naturally, I'm a adult. I don't know all I don't like. You know the man have some people and they go say well yeah. No all here. You all are not nice people. This administration is the administration of not nice people, and now we get justice. We need to stand up, we need to stand up, Andy. And I'm telling Josani this too. All they did some what you all did some preparation for work for paving. This is the second time all the paving that part of that variety bus shoot. Here in the vicinity of Coconut Growers Association. Right after 12 all the paving. Right? Now you see people there, all the preparing to pave tonight. But we are preparing for you all also. My name is Anderson Kenwin Wilson. Right? I'm preparing with other young men from the area to demonstrate and protest. Why don't they prepare to come and work tonight? People will be waiting on you all. And you all have to hire, if not 20 days, at least for the period of the section you're doing right now, which is from like phase 1 to phase 2. I say I have 5 young men from every phase. Don't tell me to be talking to all the last night this morning, all the talking about what? Who will get burned and who will get burned? Whenever a handful of Indian fellas said some boots slower down, them ain't getting burned, but the fellas down here are jumpers. That work clothes, that helmet, You ever telling you that construction boat, that steel tip, it's never a young man down here, never steel tip, you know. And I work pants, you know, and I work vest, and work jacket and all, you know. You ever telling all you? So now I want to come in and contact. If you want to contact somebody, call me. My number, the police can call me too, because coming out. 10 people stand up for all you. All you just keep feeling, all you can just 2 people who all you want. And all you beat them and love and tell. All you call the media before yesterday, all you want us to call the media and protest so they can already show our then. All you can only protest like you see like when Indian in power. So I'm telling you, Marvin Gonzalez, to anybody close to Marvin, that it will have a demonstration soon concerning that canal. With the sewer, just the canal fill of sewer. Sewer started come back up inside people's yard and in the kitchen and whatnot. And people, everybody that's still on in Bita, people still on in Trinidad and Tobago. But let me tell you something, Marvin. If the UFC don't pay nobody and beat them to protest, you know. We have been protesting for since antique. We have been protesting for years. And until we protest, there's something that's come about. Until you visualize, I know you're listening or somebody close to you listening, is them fellas with the tight pants who just walk next to you. And the Simmons don't care about none of that. Or they don't care about poor people and they don't care about the poor. You revenge the poor, but it's not a story. And they go to tell you. And I am personally waiting on you. Yeah, you just saw me. My number is 625. Who did you see that same Indian Mr. was there last night? Who only was BSL people and talking about go burn them? My father just selling the lava by. So take my number. My number is 265. It's coming and coming on. The country go get a stand still and go come from Beaton. It had to come from Beaton. Because we are situated amongst 40 looks highways. And you see this thing, every minute, you're spilling the bag, I just talk about that. 100 million gun missing in safe oil. The poor man only here, that's an just thing. And have 2 children playing with rifle. You saw that, took the petition. He ended up killing himself. Oh, what a coincidence. I'm going to keep, we are the former Attorney General. Giving a man, Vincent Nelson, to lock up 2 Indian, 10 million US. And people suffering. People suffering. Why come with the picture about it again? All the time, we spend all our water.
Not so loud. Not so loud. Because they ain't go get killed.
Let me take it down here. Only come with the picture about shoot again. But I want to tell Marvin Gonzalez something. You know, they like to say the UNCP, they are protest. Right now, when I saw what time people fight, you know, the before yesterday, I called Otto Quarantine. It will have a demonstration. It must have a demonstration, Andy. It must. And I asked them only to have a demonstration, you know, or they have to go for letter. We don't have to go for no letter. We go come and stand up on the highway. Anytime that the traffic hit the eastbound, and when it's very hard on the westbound, that is our right to hit the roads that we are situated amongst, like everybody else. Yeah? Everybody else with a block road all over. Yeah, we need to come out and demonstrate and protest the rights and the thing in our community. We just can't show our water that's flowing from here to there. Right? And to Joe Sammy and all the preparation you all set at 12 in the AM this morning to have the road patch, the same road which pitched sometime last year, or you come back to dig it back up to pitch it again. You all will hire some young man from Bitam, some young men. My number is 265. Anybody close to them, you know? 3846. Yeah, and my ticket said, Rowley afraid here. I want to tell all I want people to afraid all here, especially you Fitzgerald Lines. Right? And this is not political, you know. This is a big man talking to you. I don't afraid you, and them fellas with the tight pants that walk next to you. You about telling you? All I want to inject in human beings. And that had to stop. Stop, but you have to stand up for something. Otherwise, you will continue to lay down for nothing. I always say we have to come out and vote, and we have to put back the Honorable Kamala Prasad. I go tell all the way too. I go tell all the way, boy. Is the only Prime Minister that ever tried with the country and the whole She try with the Down syndrome them. She try with the blind. No blind people waiting to get the money. And the social welfare in a mess. We need to let the youth and all of them who say all of the vote, all is a part of the problem. And I calling on all them, you say, I talking to them every day now, Andy. We have to come out and vote, and we have to get rid of the PNM. And even before election or this year, let me do. We got to demonstrate to the parliament, do like what they're doing in other countries. We have to get rid of you by your and your friends and them by.
Thank you very much. Next caller, morning caller, where calling from? What's your contribution on the Going Report this morning?
Good morning, Trying to be good morning, Andy Williams, Mikey K. I call it from the Martin anyway. Hey, I endorse you and understand, but I go to the other class, but it's a while I here. But you said it all this morning. Very good program as always. But I have a big problem here. Right? I've been trying to get on to Andy for the longest while I ain't getting on to Andy. I don't know if Andy will be CV number and just say want to answer or not. Not all. I have a big picture that during the young I ain't getting no answer. So anyhow, here what going on? I'm calling on the Ministry of Education this morning. You understand? I'm calling on that pig face woman, but instead what I call she name. I'm calling the Ministry of Education this morning. And I will like call it again before I send up all these videos that we have here. It's a while I wanted to do it, but I didn't want to jump the gun. And right about now, I'm being honest with Trinidad and Tobago. My son is being victimized at Mokarapo West because it had a principal that was working there before them have shipped him the ball, but when he gone on vacation, I feel they just pay him in the next school. Tell himself he's my son, father, and Pian and my son. You understand? And a wrangling start, which I give my son a little wrong, But then again, when a dog gets bite, a dog just had to defend himself, And a wrangling start between this principal and my son as a principal. No kind of example you set for no kind of students in Mokarapo West. You put your hand on my son. All the walk, my son walking away. You're telling him go to the class, he walking away from you. You're pulling him, you're tugging him, you're choking him all home. Since after Carnival, this thing was going, My son home since after Carnival. You understand? Without getting an education. Right now, they don't went back in Mokarapo because they tell himself he wasn't supposed to pay and the principal was supposed to pay and my son. Look how long that bandits corporal punishment in school. And the police and them involved. Everything is the ministry. I don't know what's going on in Ministry of Education. I don't want to reach in front of the Ministry of Education because the police are going to lock me up. Hear what's going on. I would like the Ministry of Education to get involved in this because at the end of the day, my son needs his education. Now all I do is him to sit the exam that's coming up here. The man in Form 5. Form 4 going in Form 5. And this going to reach very far. Because we go down by Mokarapo West. I hear them don't know the principal and pan next principal, but this principal I know like I don't know if she fighting bait for the next principal and draw my son to come in school to get education. I want to know if that is right, if that protocol in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right, let me ask something. Did the child get or the parents get a suspension letter from the school or anything, or whatever, or it's just what? And right, and did you get the Ministry of Education involved? Did you go to the Ministry of Education and telling them and let them know exactly what it is you're telling us?
All right, Andy, here we go. Let me get the full details here, right? Right. Well, no, I haven't. Let me bring it to right. I didn't reach down by the ministry, but the ministry, apparently the ministry is involved because it reached real far, right? The social welfare from Mokarapo West came home by us, bring a letter home here from me to sign in order for my son to be suspended or expelled. I didn't sign it because, Andy, I'm telling you, I watch all the videos over and over, and I want to be honest with you. I want to be real with you. My son could have walked away. I see where he could have walked away because he was getting pushed more than once. It come like he was being aggravated because he was walking away from the principal. I have all the videos, and I believe right about now I have to start to post them out. because I've been waiting for a while to get this thing readdressed in the right way. I didn't want to rush the bus, but this thing is overbearing. Because since after the carnival, my son home, away from school, away from getting a proper education, look how much delinquent children have, look how crime going on in it. Like that's what I have my son to turn over. Then when he go on the bad side, and then the police them now go want to come and shoot him down or put him behind bars. This thing go get serious, you know. This thing is going to get real serious, you know. They are waking Teddy Yankin, you know. It's a long time Teddy Yankin quiet, you know. And the reason for that is because I know what I'm about and I know what I could do.
Thank you.
We need to get the ministry involved in this because this thing is, watch me, the principal, Ian and my son, wrongfully. My son out of school. I saw he in another school getting paid. So while my son education going down the drain, this is the original Yankton. My son name is Johannes Wilson.
Lennox.
He's going to Oklahoma West. He is in Form 4, going in Form 5. Just now he's going to do exams. They don't want to do exam. They tell him about we have to go some Soval or go some kind of OGT or some kind of thing. This is why crime will never stop. Although I do endorse it, crime will never stop because when they're frustrating people and frustrating parents out there. Alright now, it's hardly a job for anybody to feed and sustain their family. And yesterday they want to take a 16, 17-year-old child education from them. Please to come out of the delinquent to abandon to some kind of thing so the police will come and kill him. Well, I rather the police kill me, boy. I will be done by that ministry education come Monday, please God. I will be a one man. I don't want to be the only way to the young get a cup. Because
listen, Terry. Before you go
yes, my brother.
Right, because calling on Lennox at the end of the day, my advice is for you to organize as a parent and write the Ministry of Education. Put all we're talking there is in writing. Because so far, what it is you're telling us, I can't say it's truth or no truth, or if it go, you have your videos, you have your things to prove, or if it go. But don't let ignorance, listen, don't let ignorance get you in no problem. Paper trail and paperwork, always the best thing. You admit that you haven't approached the Ministry of Education up to now, right? If you go out there to talk to the Ministry or to get on board by the Ministry of Education with them, and it will be about something that maybe the superiors of the person who came to sign this letter that he didn't sign, maybe don't know. So I think you should make the approach to the Ministry of Education. Put all...
Andy, not cutting it, right? Listen to this and listen to this carefully now, boy. This thing really unfair, boy. Listen to this carefully, yeah?
Right.
The social welfare for Bukapo came home by us, right, Andy? They came home, she didn't see the videos, not told us yet.
You see, Teddy, again, you're explaining to us, we understand. You're going to tell us the same thing, Papa. And right now, listen, all right, but listen, we already gone overboard with, remember, you saying on national radio, it's not just so, and you quiet long time, and it come like again, and just to be fair to you, and to be fair to the and to be fair to everybody, you're going down a road that will bring plenty people in trouble, Papa. So all I'm telling you again, write the Ministry of Education, the direction and the things that you just said there. I know you mean it is all for passion. And it's right that that child gets his education. But you need to follow the procedures too. I have to cut the call, right? Because the direction and the things you say in cutting it. Right.
Limited, its owners and associates, accepts no responsibility for statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests. More FM Limited does not endorse any of the information provided during this commercially booked segment as the truth. That you have to judge for yourself. We, however, reserve the right to question statements made. But in this time of misinformation, government-controlled media, and corruption, it is sometimes hard to get the truth. But we must try. It is not our intention to discriminate or annoy anyone. We believe it is our constitutional right to free speech, to voice our opinion, and our duty to the population and country to expose the truth. More FM Limited takes no responsibility for the opinions of others.
I understand everything he is saying. I don't agree with some of the things he is saying. But any day, go put everything on paper. Morning, caller.
Good morning, Grom Reporters. Good morning, Andy. Morning, Arima. Teddy, let me tell you this, please. I feel your pain from what you've said on the radio, but I beg that you get an attorney to write the Ministry of Education, directly the Minister of Education and the Permanent Secretary. Let the attorney write them to air your concerns, because with your passion right now, and I appreciate it, you're going to end up getting in real problems. So please take advice from someone who knows the system. And I want to refer now to some videos that have been aired on social media by a particular businessman in this country who carries the portfolio under AV Oil. I could call his name because it's on social media. The man would have been, who appear, and I use the word very, very protectively, the man would have appeared to be highly intoxicated. And most times, when people drunk, they speak out. The man went on to say he paid a certain individual $20 million to make sure Petrotrin was closed. Petrotrin is up for sale. And if Petrotrin becomes a viable company under private ownership, it means to say all the allegations against that individual is true. But yet we have 70% of the country who believes that the government is doing the right thing, and who believes that the opposition is the one who causing the problems. And yet we have UNC membership, not supporters, membership, who calling for the demise of the present leader of the UNC. Membership. I am saying that it's time people do some introspection and dig deep within your own conscience, deep within your own soul. Because here we're going on. Every child, with the exception of the children from the millionaires in this country and the multimillionaires, every child in this country is suffering. We have no benefits. They have no benefits. The benefits are transferred and posted to the well-to-dos in this country. Everybody else catching their nana and auntie, uncle, nephew, niece, and everything else. And yet, the same people who catching it, how you call it, are the ones who support the PNM. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you very much. Morning, caller. We're calling from. What's your contribution on the Ground Report this morning?
Morning. This is Malcolm X. Sorry for calling back a second time, which I don't do, but my brother, Indigo Martin, with your child. That's the kind of frustration they're trying to pull we through to dead, boy. The Prime Minister don't say who dead. They want you, your child, your whole family to get destroyed. And I want Andy and the Beatum, whenever Beatum decide to protest, Malcolm X want to be part of that, because the most set of revolutionists we have in this country is the people from the Beatum. All them West areas is talkers and PNM till they're dead, boy. And you see where you say this morning, Trinidad and Tobago, are you ready to support Andy and the beaten people to demand work supposed to give priority to them because that road tired paved and Junior Sammy and all of them is we eating all the money and getting the politician kickback. I gone, boys. Serious time is now.
Thank you very much. Morning, caller. We're calling from. What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Let me say, oh boy. Boy, sad this morning. After, I know you put the disclaimer here, but after listening to Anderson and Teddy, that baby behind the bragon should have been crying. And I hope that somebody is listening could reach out to Teddy. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes children make mistake of the being hasty. I might fight the teacher and might think and wherever, but you know what I mean? It's always forgiveness to give a child opportunity and a chance again once a child to change that lifestyle. You know what I mean? And if the parents is willing to change that lifestyle also, and they will come together and come to a solution, and you telling the right thing. And I hope that it have thousands of people listen to this program here. Somebody should reach out to Teddy and try to help him. And it's sad to see the disrespect again. The PNM giving beaten people. This morning I hear Anderson hurting him. Anderson had bleeding blood in him. Anderson is a serious man, you know. The youth of the beaten have nothing. And all you bring people from Handy carrying the bridge to empower them more and keep the people behind coming down. Or you put just a darky from the beaten as a other man. Eh? The PNM had the most just of darky in this country. Most of them. Most. That's about UNC has put. No. The PNM has put their own as face to fool the people. So you take a other man. Take a young boy from the beaten and make him a other man. And still pissing on the beaten. Like the behavior of PNM, murder their own, leave their own in poverty and pain and hunger, blood and killing. I want the police, it is time to go up Marvel and search that 3-story house. It is time to go and find the millions of dollars we've been given that ministry. It is time to go in Marvel and search that house that we do not know. We see that man put on shiny clothes. I went and celebrate the 100 shiny days. He a big Rasta man like that. What deal he make? I am saying this. It is time for the police service. It is time the commissioner send our boys and our girls up in Marva in that 3-story $18 million house up there. Because we are concerned, you know. We are very concerned today. I want to say yes. I also want to join in Andy Ifrid Rowdy too. Because all you do have belly. And Andy, I never shoot down the community mic, you know. I am saying the community mic have to be there. But I'm saying anywhere to get results, the streets is calling me name. You hear Anderson this morning. You hear your brother Teddy this morning. You hear the people this morning. You hear Malcolm this morning. The streets is calling me name. Is there it happening? Is there where the thing happening is on the streets? And to see because we are suffering, you know. If we ain't suffering and we are happy where we is in your comfort zone and we're okay with it, I don't have a problem with that. But I suffering because of all your mistake, because of all your support that man, because of the EBC I suffering, because of the police I suffering, because Dr. Rich should be locked up and charged for coming to announce he win the election before the ABC done check. We naturally see it blatant in our face. 2020 election have a question mark. Have a question mark over it. 9 years of hell. 9 years of pain. 9 years of poverty. 9 years of blood. 9 years destroying our country. So, I'll make it clear again as I close. The most of Joseph Darky, they in the PNM. They put the Africans in front to fool the rest of Africans now. They say, look at it. That's what they're doing now. They take someone from the bottom and make him an other man. Because they know he is a slave catcher. So he go and catch his slave on them. So they make a new slave catcher because Fitzgerald is a slave catcher. Rowdy is a slave catcher. This young boy, Leons, Keith Scotland, the Africans in the PNM, they are slave catchers. These Africans in the PNM is not running the PNM. They use our young African boys who bright and who get a degree, and they use them and they brainwash them. They give them nice car, they give them contract, they make them feel comfortable, and you know what they do them? They tell them to go in Marva and live. Go and Genko and live. Go up Carnage up in the big hill and live. All the African people up there hiding from where you know. All the African people hiding from where you know. Because it's what PNM teach them as they get a degree. Look, I have two doctors move over my area. And I know something, this PNM, you know. They in the youth group, they in this group and in that group. This PNM. So I hear the pain, I hear the cry, I am seeing the blood of victory, the blood of good, the blood of moving all darkness, because the only dark blood we have in this country, Dr. Rowdy boy, I want to join the people of this country and bury you politically 9 feet. You mustn't go 6 feet, no. Your history in this country, Kamala, please. Let me get to 28 seats. That we could have the majority that we could pass a bill to remove Dr. Rowdy 10 years. Our children must never remember this nightmare. No? This 9 years nightmare. No? We must remove all inspectors from government ministry. We must remove his name as prime minister of this country. No? We must destroy him politically. We must destroy that history. We must burn up all them books and them. We mustn't tell our children that we have a prime minister like that evil man, you know. Boy, Dr. Rowdy, I spit on the ground, boy.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Lituna Puna here. Andy, it is frightening when you watch what is happening in this country in terms of what is passing as governance. I'll just reference to you. The fire services, they're ill-equipped to deal with major fires and things and to rescue people's lives. The same thing that they have, the lifeguards are ill-equipped. They're employing them and whatnot. They don't have the necessary what it takes to save lives, the apparatus and whatnot. That's two. We have in the hospital, children are dying, our babies. And who are the people? It's poor black people, children. Because you don't see no Caucasian, no Chinese, no big shot people. It's poor black people. So this is 3 instances where I'm saying that this PNM government, this so-called black government, don't care to hell about the black people in this country. I want to ask, is Lennox listening, Andy?
No.
Okay.
Just make one ask because it's exactly 5 minutes to the hour of 9 o'clock.
All right. I heard that the guy from the hospital who in charge of the sanitation and whatnot, the doctor fella, I understand him. But the fella who did it suspend. It's because I wonder if it is now that they will be using him to bring him back so that he could testify and make some cover up or what up. I hope he has the testicular fortitude to come out and say it as it is. Because I am asking the question, then, Andy. I don't know what the hell it is they find and them people stupid. Because they were supposed to open the Point 14 hospital, fire service station. And this is what they cancel it, they postpone it because of the fact. And hear what Fitzgerald Hines had to say. It had to do with events logistics. What the hell is event logistics? You know what is event logistics, Andy? They didn't have the equipment. They didn't have the people there to put in place a working station. And all this kind of damn nonsense. And Fitzgerald Hines is coming to tell you about event logistics. I mean, you know, and the head of the fire service.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Last caller, morning caller. We're calling from. What's your contribution on the Ground Report this morning?
Pleasant good morning, Andy.
Good morning to you.
And
is
Mikey
that?
Trinidad and Tobago Central here. Andy will always say thank God to you guys that you are alerting TNT about the right from wrong. Right? So thank God for that. Now, there's a video circulating on Facebook with this Mr. with the fake oil. Right? He said some filthy thing about the political leader, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the opposition leader, soon to be the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. How come and why is this man haven't been locked up as yet? This is all over social media. If you hear the dirty, filthy things and he was very intoxicated, right? Why this man wasn't being locked up and charged as yet? As soon as I get the video, I will send it to you all. And if you all have sent you all to the edge of Trinidad and Tobago, see who haven't seen it as yet. Because as somebody tell Rowley either, they'll come in and find them if he's in behind us, whatever, they'll come in and fire him. You understand? So why this man cannot be fined, being charged and put in jail as yet and pay for his mount? And Rowley is a man, call a general election and we will show you how serious people is in this country. And they see people foolish, they are stupid. Well, just call, make a date and a time, and they will show you seriousness in this country. Andy, Lennox, Mikey, you all have a blessed weekend. Be safe, Trinidad and Tobago, and it's that.
Thank you. Last call, Mr. Ramnarine. Last call. You have exactly 1 minute. 1 minute, Master Ramnarine.
Hi, good morning, Andy. Good morning, Lennox. You know what I want to say? Is short.
You have one. Oh boy.
You know that
you have 30 seconds.
These babies are dying in the hospital. If that was over here, people would have been marching and protesting by the thousands by the hospital against the government. The Minister of Health, they would have fired him immediately.
Thank you very much. We get the point. Sorry about that. Trying to Tobago, after God family comes first. Be safe on the nation roads. Today's Friday. Until Monday morning, please God. Yours truly, the Pitbull Radio, on behalf of the Ground Report. We are out of here.
Disclaimer. More FM Limited, its owner and associates accepts no responsibility for statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests. More FM Limited does not endorse any of the information provided during this commercially booked segment as the truth. That you have to judge for yourself. We, however, reserve the right to question statements made. But in this time of misinformation, government-controlled media, and corruption, it is sometimes hard to get the truth. But we must try. It is not our intention to discriminate or annoy anyone. We believe it is our constitutional right to free speech, to voice our opinion, and our duty to the population and country to expose the truth. More FM Limited takes no responsibility for the opinions of others.
China Ari Restaurant is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. 67 Western Main Road, St. James, opposite Standards.